In my own mind, I never would have thought that I would have flipped a house. My friends were being lifeguards. They were working in ice cream shops. I was spending 30 minutes calling on the phone or running errands to buy things for the house, or I was getting finished with a golf tournament and I was calling the contractor back. My name is Phoebe Grier. I love to read, and I also make magazine collages, so I clip out magazines and just create collages. I like to give those as gifts. I play golf. I do the dishes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. My first flip was the summer after my sophomore year, and I was 16 when I first bought the property, and I turned 17 by the time it was finished. My parents didn't talk about money a whole lot when I was younger. It was more just talking about business ideas. I just inherited some traits from my dad that are just more business mind and entrepreneurial mind. We watched Shark Tank, and he always was like, that could be you. My parents were a part of a mastermind real estate class, and so they heard about a 16-year-old girl who flipped a house, and I was like, I'm interested in doing that. I think that I could do that too. My parents were fully supportive in me wanting to flip a house, and they were like, we can do whatever you want us to do and help you in any way. Then it was kind of just jumping headfirst into starting. I got the property from a wholesaler called Rapid Fire. Andy, actually, from Rapid Fire. I got in touch with him. There was a couple of properties that were just not a good fit, but then the property on Portland Drive came, and it was this is it. It was a 3-bed, 2-bath, and it was also 1 floor, and it was also in a really good location, so that's how I knew it was the right flip. My dad helped getting the money, being connected to the Backflip. I worked with Joe at Backflip. At that point, I had no experience at all. So to be backed up in that way by Joe and by Backflip was very cool. The house cost $235,000 and Backflip covered 80% of that. So the down payment was $50,000. I went to my parents and I was like, would you be able to help me? And they were like, yes. And so I worked out a deal with them for them to be able to help finance the flip. And then I was able to pay them back and pay interest on that money as well. I found my contractor through my dad. My dad gave me his number, and from there I just took it and ran with that. I called and I set up everything with him. I was very nervous putting my trust into someone that I didn't know. One of the advantages of being a teenager and doing this is I make my own schedule. So I can run over to the house whenever I want. I could meet the contractor whenever I want. I didn't have somebody to be answering to. I was being the person that was setting the schedule. One of my favorite things that I did with the flip was the kitchen. Originally, I wanted light blue kitchen tile, but that ended up being out of stock. And so I looked at different colors, and I decided with a dark, more emerald green. The best thing that my mom did to help on the flip was just providing advice. I was able to go to her to ask opinions on if she liked this flooring, or if she thought this flooring looked good with this wall color, or just any design question like that. One of the problems I ran into was when the flip was finished, we had the inspector come in, and he was like, you have really high levels of radon. And I was like, what is radon? And so that was another $3,000 that we had to spend. Another thing that I ran into was having to deal with a difficult landscaper. He came in and he did work, and I looked and I was like, this is not what we talked about, and this does not look good. And so I had to call him and I had to be like, this is not what I paid you for. Being a female and being a teenage girl is people don't expect you to be able to step up to the plate. And so it's just up to you to surpass those expectations. When the house sold, I was so excited. We got an offer over asking price within 12 hours, and then 24 hours later, it was like, the house is sold. Profit was $40,000 on the sale. It was really exciting. With the money that I made, I bought a car. I also tithe on that money, and so I tithed to my local church and also my small group leader that she raises her own salary, and so I gave money to her, and then another small group leader that I had in the past who also fundraises her salary, I gave money to her. That was just so cool to be able to do that. I had a low confidence when I was younger, and so I never thought that I could be successful, but I do believe I've been successful. I started playing golf my freshman year and just have fell in love with it since then. Through the confidence that I built through this flip, I was able to take into golf and just being more confident in my game and who I am as a player and who God has made me to be as a player. One of my dreams with golf is to play in college, and that is a dream that is getting a little bit closer to actually happening. I am going to do more flips. This year, I waited until after golf season was over to get the ball rolling, but honestly, with senior year, it's been super crazy. But I am looking to buy another house right now.